It's almost that time of year, but we're not going on an Easter egg hunt or a treasure hunt. We're looking for things that most people don't want, a scavenger hunt for defects. But with the right frame of mind, you can convert your unwanted discoveries into breakdown pay. In part 6, I talked about assessment week. Walmart wants to know that you can spot defects during a pre-trip or post-trip inspection. We must rely on our own drivers to bring attention to issues that arise from the continual change of hands in a drop and hook operation. Easy fixes are repaired while you wait. More involved jobs would likely require a tractor swap or a new load assignment. After all, who wants to risk their life being broken down on the side of the road with no facilities? It's just better to make sure everything is good to go before you leave the DC. Either way, key yourself into breakdown status upon discovery of a defect until the repair is complete or an alternative plan is implemented. I've compiled a variety of real-world problems. They range from non-safety related items that can be solved in a few minutes, all the way up to a full-blown out-of-service items, and many in between. Walmart would never demand that you go down the road with an issue that places anyone in harm's way or might get you shut down during a roadside inspection. That's what roadside repair and towing companies are for. So without further delay, here we go. As a new Walmart driver, you're going to be assigned to numerous different tractors. It's going to be a good idea to look it over to make sure that you're not going to get blamed for prior damage. This here looks to be cosmetic, but if you look behind these skirts, you'll find that the actual brackets behind there are damaged. You want to make sure you take pictures and you get with the shop to make sure that it's been recorded. Here we got the mud flap bracket and the mud flap that's been snagged. It's been reported, and they're not going to replace this as it is strictly cosmetic, is not affecting function. I found this right front side marker lamp falling off, and I wrote it up on my post-trip inspection so that it would be repaired before the next driver gets in the truck. I made a little graphic here to show one of the most common problems that I see other drivers not checking out on their trucks. The turn signal lamps and the parking lamps, there's 2 filaments in each bulb on the front of the truck, and between the bumper fog lights and the headlight assemblies there's a total of 16 filaments that should all be functioning. Here is the proper function of the front parking lamps and the turn signal lamps. Here we have the inner turn signal filament not illuminating. Here we have the right outer turn signal filament not illuminating. We have a cracked fog lamp lens. Here we have our LED tail lamp assembly at 50% of the LEDs. Some drivers might say, well, that's fine as long as it's working, right? I said, well, how would you like 50% of your paycheck? Here we got a nail or 2 stuck in a steer tire. Here we got a case of stone drilling as eaten into the steel belts of the tire. This is an out of service criteria. The reason that is because moisture will start going into those steel braids and wicking into the tire and will start to rust. Eventually you'll have a failure of the casing of the tire, which is not going to end well if you're actually going down the road. I actually had a problem with the vibration on this steer tire. It was kind of egg-shaped, and you can see right here that it also was wearing down into the base layer of rubber. That's why there's a little bit different sheen there. That's actually not tread rubber. Okay, here upon opening the hood we can see that we got the hood pocket bumper is falling apart. On the pre-trip I found that the windshield washer reservoir cap was missing. This one was interesting. While I was driving I thought I could hear a massive air leak under full power, and it did seem like the power was down a little bit. Upon further examination I found that the bow inside the front of the hood behind the grill was rubbing on the charge air cooler and wearing a hole in it. Here we got a broken bracket that holds the ABS signal wire. Here's a worn rear suspension control arm spring bushing. Here we have a brake chamber that its push rod is at maximum stroke, as indicated by the red band. Most likely this is a slack adjuster that's not automatically adjusting, as I've never seen any drums or brake pads worn beyond limits. since I've been at Walmart. Got a Leaky push-in fitting. Truck factories love these things. They never hold up for the long term, like the old school style connector. And we got a leaking bolt. I've never seen that before, but if you know how the airbag's designed, the bolt is threading into a hole down into the airbag, and those threads are leaking. Quite funny to see that one. Okay, don't leave the yard with this one. We got a leaky trailer. You know, the only thing you're allowed to leak from your trailer is clear water or feather. This unknown substance was kind of a golden color, not meeting those requirements, so it's got to be reworked. Okay, here's a trailer you don't want to pull. This thing needs to be cleaned out before you attempt to get this thing loaded. That's paint and some other unknown white substance. We've got a trailer here with some natural lighting. We don't have any translucent roofs, so that's actually a hole in the nose of the trailer. Missing and broken lights. Missing landing gear, pad, or foot. Improperly supported tandem slider, airlines, and electrical. Flat spotted tires, not meeting minimum tread depth requirements for a major tread groove. Cut in a tire sidewall. Rust trail showing a crack in the suspension. We usually like to transport the freight on the inside of the trailer. Sometimes not so much. We also usually transport checked pallets on the inside, as the tires don't work very well. This one caused quite a bit of damage. Cracked brake linings. The FMCSA considers these to be non-factory perforations. I guess this lower side rail on a van trailer would also be considered non-factory perforation. The color of the rust trails coming from this spring seemed a little unusual. The alignment of these parts looked a little peculiar also. Please note the thin piece of metal coming out under the front of the spring. Again, something just doesn't look right in the alignment of these parts, with that top plate right under the U-bolts kind of projecting rearward. Here's the money shot. When I saw this, I knew something was not right. And if you look up in the spring equalizer, you can see that the front end of the spring is broken. How about this suspension? Does anything look wrong here? Here's the opposite side, which does not have a problem. Does this make it any easier to see the problem yet? Okay, there's the actual problem. And I don't know if you noticed on the prior broken spring, but it was also a monoleaf. These are the only two broken springs I've seen in my year and a half at Walmart. They were both monoleafs. So I'm not really a fan. Okay, everybody, I want to thank you again for tuning into my channel. You know, the fastest method to get here is to type D4W.life in your web browser. I myself do it all the time. And it is the fastest, quickest method to get you to all of these videos regarding driving for Walmart.